Remember I told you it's okay to wait? It's okay to wait for a customer, and that's true. But it's not okay to ever let the customer see another counter attendant who doesn't come help them. If you've got somebody in the back room and that customer sees them, they must wash their hands, come out, and help. Must. Because you can never ignore the customer. So if they see you, you've got to help. Okay. Okay, I alluded to this bonus program. I'll try and get it on the way now. I pay bonus. My staff, I pay 50 cents an hour if 5 criteria are met. If 5 criteria are met. The first one is they're in full uniform all the time, every time. If I drive by the store and Susie doesn't have her hat on, I drive into the store, I step out and I say, Susie, you didn't have your hat on. No bonus this week because you didn't have your hat on. Susie worked 35 hours that week. It just cost her $17.50. This is the deep psychological concept known as WIFM. WIFM. What's in it for me? You take away $17.50 from Susie, Susie's going to have her hat on her head next time. Because she can't afford to keep losing this money. Okay? WIFM. So that's number one. Full uniform all the time. If they're ever not in uniform, they know. If you've got a real problem with uniform, you make it so it spins off to the other staff. Susie, you didn't have your uniform on, no bonus. Bobby, you're working with Susie. Susie doesn't have a uniform on, no bonus. Now, Bobby is really going to enforce Susie having a hat. Get your damn hat on! That guy could walk in here! Uniform. The slicing evaluations. Remember those slicing evaluations we did? They've got to be within your standard. Cash-ins must be done every shift. Must be accurate within $1 and $1. I have people tell me, oh, my store would never be accurate within $1 and $1. You start paying 50 cents an hour, if they are, you better believe they will be. You get what your reward. The closing list, remember that closing list? And the cleaning chart, all those numbers, doing the jobs, that's the fourth factor. And the fifth factor is customer service. It's an up check from the manager or a down check. And that's almost a given. It's almost always an up check. Because if it's a down check, we're going to be firing them anyway. If all 5 of those criteria are met, I pay 50 cents an hour for every hour worked that week. Okay? Now in my store, I told you. Okay, now, you need to give feedback. Sometimes it's verbal feedback, sometimes it's in writing. Remember I told you we take somebody out of the store, we have them do a written assignment. Well, just a change from verbal to writing makes them perceive it as much more important. If I said to you, you didn't wear your hat, hats are not an option, you're not going to get bonus. You get a certain message. Hey, I did bad, I'm going to lose bonus. Okay, same situation. You didn't wear your hat, hats are not an option, you're going to lose your bonus, and sign this written warning. I just upped the ante here. Okay? Now it's much more involved. This person's perception is, oh, this is serious. Okay? I give written warnings at the drop of a hat. My best employees probably get 50 in her file. Okay? I also do that for another reason, for unemployed account. Another thing, you're going to hand it to them, and when you hand it to them, you probably say, now, to be well organized in this, you have to have a training center in your store, and all that is a couple of bulletin boards, a couple of cork boards in the back room, with the magic marker writing across training center. This is an ongoing center where people are going to have their handbooks are going to be placed there. When you give a new employee a handbook, they write their name on it, they take it home, they read it overnight, they bring it back in, and then it stays in the store from then on. And that's an ongoing review tool. Once a week, the person who is ultimately responsible for training will meet with that employee and say, well, what have you learned this week? And they will have checked off the things that they've learned. And what I would do is I would say, okay, you checked off that you understand the employee parking policy. What is the employee parking policy? And they say it back to me. Okay, if it's right, I sign off on it. If it's wrong, we correct it. And I'll talk to them again about it next week. So they can say it back next week. Okay? Now all these little items, how to slice green peppers. I'm going to say, show me how to slice green peppers. And if they're picking up the knife and picking up the pepper, I'm not going to sign off that they know what they're doing yet. And in my stores, you cannot get a raise and you cannot trade hours with other employees till your handbook's finished. And I'll tell you something else. As soon as the handbook is finished, you will get a raise. You will get a 5 cent an hour raise. When you get your handbook done, you get what you reward. If you reward somebody for making progress, they'll make progress. My staff doesn't get a raise till they can do a cash-in. But as soon as they can do a cash-in, they get a raise. 5 cents an hour. You know how long it takes before they know how to do a cash-in? Usually the next morning. And you guys are sweating and straining with people for 6 weeks. Oh, they still can't do a cash-in. Okay? You get what you reward.